Hey everybody. So I am going to go over the very basics of working with AI. In this case, it's going to be OpenArt AI to design your own little AI cartoon. I'll cover the basics of how you create your characters, how you pick a background, even how you can generate some music, and then I'll show you the basics of using the interface of OpenAI to generate the shots. And then I will go on to the editing and show you how it all kind of comes together. And then I am going to show you some clips. I'm going to walk you through the animation that I did, and we're going to stop and look at some stuff that's like really cool and stuff that's like the big challenges of working with AI and trying to get it to stay on track and obey and produce the stuff that you're looking for. And that will be it. So come along and let's begin. Okay, so I am going to go through this kind of step by step in a very, very simple way for you to understand how you can go from creating your character and then using that character as reference, which when it comes to making the video clips, you will be uploading that as reference so that every time you make a clip, the program is going to know what the character should look like. You can also type it out, but I think I prefer using it as reference. So we're going to start making the three characters. I'll show you the step by step. First of all, what it looks like here in OpenArt AI. So this is the cluttered, noisy interface here on OpenArt.ai. Okay, now this particular program or set of programs, you can do a lot of stuff with it. You can just make characters, or you can use those characters to create videos with. You can make audio recordings. Change the voice on the audio recordings. You can do lip sync. Like, let's say you create a character and then you want it to talk, and you can use your own voice or a synthetic voice. I tried that a couple of times and it really kind of didn't work that well for me. There are also templates where you can they kind of hold your hand and just sort of encourage you to, pick some art style, create something, and then drop everything into a template, and then they'll make the story for you. Very hand-holding in some ways. And there's tons of other tools in here that I just haven't had any use for. You've probably heard of things like C-Dance, Nano Banana, and VO. This has all those programs. They all cost a little bit different in credits. Every time you generate something, it will cost you in credits. If you look at the upper right-hand corner here, I just got refreshed. It was 24,000 at the beginning of the month. I get 24,000 credits, which you can go through very fast, actually, because a lot of your time is going to be spent redoing videos and or images and modifying them, and it all costs credits. Okay, so let's get going. Let's start with the basics. I will walk you through, for the most part. The most important thing is, how do you make the prompt? How do you even begin to describe to this the kind of character you want? So let's say I have some idea for the Lara character. We're going to start with her. These are all of these blocks that you see are the scenes that I generated using OpenArt. Now, I was using Grok for a while before this. Grok, they actually have included it in here. It is an option. But Grok is not free anymore. So I jumped over to this. So do you see all these programs that are like Kling, Seedream, there's Grok, Wan. Okay, so they all work a little differently. They all cost a little bit different. I have kind of found that for what I'm doing in this interface, I liked Grok the best. But I am using Kling 2.6. It'll allow you to, it doesn't really matter because we're not going to actually generate something right this second. All right, let's start creating our character. This box here is your prompt box. Okay, this is where all the magic happens. This is where you're going to describe the character you want. Okay, so we're going to jump ahead here, and I will go ahead and pop in an example of how you could write something that will get you a character like Laura. Okay, we're going to jump ahead here a little bit. I didn't actually generate this because I already have it. But let's say you come up with something like this. Okay, now if it comes up completely out of left field for you, don't feel bad. You didn't do anything wrong. These things are notorious for adding things, doing strange things. I had her literally turn into a tiger in one of the things I was working on. It's like, where did you come up with that? So you have to be patient, and you just have to keep regenerating. And I think it really only took about 2 tries for me to come up with this little girl character. That's fine. I can use this for now. Okay, here is an example of something that was fairly close to what I wrote to get Laura. You can see that anything you could possibly add to your description, all the better. Don't think that you're writing too much. See, a girl about 8 years old, dressed in warm, furry. Okay, it says winter winder clothes, so you can change that. Although it seems to kind of be forgiving when it comes to typos. Blonde hair, brown eyes, braids that hang over her shoulders. Furry. See, this is another thing. You got to read it over. Furry cat, with kitty ears and aviator glasses on her head. You know, if you just say aviator glasses, they might put them on over her eyes. You have to consider everything. Pouch around her waist, or you could say a belt with a pouch. You know, it depends on what your model looks like when you generate it. You can make changes afterwards, too. Contrasting strip of tan on her pants. Actually, that was a secondary request. Mittens, aqua crystal necklace on black cord. You could write around her neck as well. Just to be clear, if you wanted. She's adventurous, energetic, and fun. Oops. Okay, we jumped out of that. Anyway, that gives you an idea of what a prompt looks like. And then what you would go down here, you'd make sure do you want to use Nano Banana? Because that's what it's on right now. It doesn't really matter to me right now because we're not going to really make it. But, you know, you can go down the list of options here. There's a whole pile of them, and you'll end up finding your favorites. Anyway, and then you hit generate. See, 40. It'll cost me 40 credits to create an image of. In fact, another thing. This is reminding me because again, watch how specific you can get here. She is facing forward towards camera from feet to head. Okay, now that is another thing that you can add in to make sure you get the full body. So you got to take a look at what it gives you. Are you happy with it? This is pretty good, actually. I mean, I figured I could use, what they gave me. So that is an idea of how you could, like the kind of description that would be great. The more information you can give it, the better. Okay, so let's say we want to create a friend for her. Okay, so we're going to start on another kid. So we clear that. Okay, here we are. Let's see how we have done this. 8-year-old boy, dark brown hair, blue eyes, medium brown, warm snow outfit, mittens, light trim on jacket, shoulder strap with pouch on waist, contrasting aqua stitching on clothing, brown boots. Okay, because I want to make sure that his outfit looked a little different from Laura's. These programs tend to kind of twin things. They repeat things, and you kind of have to mix it up a bit. So then what I would do is I would hit generate, or maybe if I want to flesh this out and say a little more. Like, remember what I did last time. Okay, then you can go ahead and hit your generate with whatever program works best for you, and then it will create the image. It can take several minutes. This isn't the fastest thing in the world. The program, sometimes you got to get up and leave and come back or whatever. Although images should not take as long as generating video. So I ended up with something like this, and this was like the first thing they gave me, and it's like, okay, I can use that. So added him because this is just, again, we're just experimenting. It's not going to be in theaters everywhere. Okay, so that shows you that through your words, from the words, you will get your. So it's really important that you can elaborate, describe, visualize what you want, and then if it doesn't come up quite right, they will allow you to modify this. So you can take this if you like most of this, but you'd like to add something, take something away, change the color of something. You will upload this, and then you will type out your modifications. Okay, so I'm going to jump, now that you kind of get an idea of the words to pictures, I'm going to kind of move ahead a little bit and show you the wolf. Okay, Loki the wolf. He was generated pretty quickly as well. He looked pretty good right out the bat, right out the door. I did make sure that he had those nice aqua eyes. And of course, this is generated, his feet are cut off at the bottom. But that really didn't end up mattering because they kind of filled it in. So let's say you have all of your characters, all right, and you're pretty happy with them just for, the sake of messing around and doing some fun stuff. Here you go. You got your cast. Congratulations. You have the stars of the show right here. Okay, so when we work in animation, what makes things easy for us is to create what we call a turnaround. A turnaround will show people like me who do storyboards, what do the characters look like from the front, just like this. What do they look like from a side view? What do they look like from the back view and 3/4 view as well? So we can get an idea in our head what the characters look like if they turned around, which is why they call it that. So that's something that is reference that we use, when we're drawing. So the cool thing about this is that they can help you out with that. Now, I'm going to show you one more character. Actually, I see her down here. I'm just going to introduce her to you real quick. This is a fourth kid. Jenny, I am not going to use. I didn't end up using her because it was like I just didn't need to use the scenes that she was in. And I think it's a little weird how it ended up doing her hair there with those like tight rubber bands at the bottom of the hair. But who knows? She could show up another if I do more episodes, and I can ask the machine to change her hair. So anyway, there's that. But we're dealing with these guys. All right. So this is going to be important. This step I'm going to show you will be important because you're going to use all of these pieces of art here to upload as reference when you start to make your video, because the machines, the programs, need to know what we're dealing with. What are these characters? What do they look like? So the easiest way to do that is to drop your image in. Let's say we start with this, but you drop your image into the video, where we jump now from image making, go to video, which is on the left side of the screen. I'll show you, blah, 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 blah. We were on image. Okay, you're gonna jump to the video. And because you're using your characters, select text with reference at the top. So in this box right here, I am going to type start the girl facing camera. Remember, we're not up and running quite yet with making our shots for our cartoon. This is all prep work because we got to do these steps to get there. Start the girl facing camera, and then have her turn around away from camera and stop. Okay, so what is that going to get us? Why is this important? We're going to pay 175 credits, and we're going to get this result. Okay, I don't have to do it right now because I already did it. Here we go. What do we have here? She goes. All right, now what do we have? This is wonderful. It's a moving turnaround. Now we know what she looks like from the front and the back. And we're going to need that. We're going to screen grab this. So for our reference, we're building our reference library. We've got her from the front. We got her from the back. Now, of course, because this is a little movie, you know, if you wanted to, you could kind of try to do the, you know, although it doesn't really seem to need these side views. It seems to be perfectly fine with just these two. Also, be careful, this stick, you don't want that stick to be part of her all the time. Even if I do more, I'm going to have to remove this. If you upload this as your turnaround, it's going to think she has a stick all the time. I have taken sometimes these images and put them into I've got an online Photoshop style program, and I get rid of the stick. Manually get in there, erase the stick, and then re-upload it as your new reference image. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take Michael. We're going to do the same thing to him. We're going to build a turnaround. So again, we're going to ask the machine to start him facing us and to please turn him around. Okay, now he ends up walking. Again, I didn't ask it to walk. It did it by itself, but that's okay. You can still grab that image of him facing away from camera. Okay, and here we go. We have the front and the back of him, and this will be fine. This is plenty for the program to use. 1, 2, there it is. So we've built 2 characters already, and we can go for number 3 as well. Let's get Loki working here, please, Loki. Now you turn around for me. Let me see. He gives me a little smile. There he is. There he is. And again, he is cut off here at the bottom, but it doesn't seem to have bothered, you know, it used that perfectly well. I don't know. It didn't seem to make any difference. So that is how you start building your character reference library with little simple turnarounds and your characters. And I did want to add here that you will be able to save all of the characters you create in like a character folder, and you can actually name them. So you don't have to do this over and over again. Once your character is created, it's saved in whatever program you're using. So you can make several cartoons, same characters, just drag them in to the reference area. Interestingly, as you can see, I'm using like the very simple boy and girl, and it knows to differentiate them. So I've just kept it simple, but you can get more on the ball than I'm showing you here and make actual folders to use again and again. Okay, so along with the character, you will also need to would be a good idea to provide a reference, a still shot screen grab would work fine, of the background, like describe the environment. Where does this all take place? And I had kind of gotten in my mind a snow-covered environment, except with sunlight coming down. So you get like this brilliant white light, reflecting on the snow, which is kind of a little unusual. Normally you would think it would be rainy or cloudy, overcast. But I wanted to kind of make it sort of a magical, brightly lit, sort of an upbeat snowscape, I guess. So this is how you can begin asking the program to generate some ideas for you. Okay, so you're going to go back to image, right? Here's image. We're not doing a video yet. This is like we're gathering our reference photos. So we're going to produce some, snowscapes for it to use. So we go to image, and then this is an example of how you could word it. Create a beautiful sunny snowscape with trees, mountains, and frozen lakes. Sunlight dabbles the pure white snow. That should be dapples. Okay, and then you can hit, for 40 credits, you can hit generate, and it'll come up with some examples for you. So the first thing I'm going to show is just let's suppose you get something like this. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be this long like this, but this is a beginning. This is actually from a shot that I did, but it's just to kind of give you an idea without characters in it. So if you like what you see, you can hang on to that, or you can ask it to regenerate something different. But what I have found, which is really interesting, is that it's going to handle the backgrounds pretty much so on its own, which is kind of surprising. If you look through all these are actually, finished scenes that I did. I asked it, like for this one in the upper middle here, to go ahead and have her like leap over a log. You can actually describe the action, and it'll compose and create the backgrounds without any assistance from you. I didn't. I went through the log thing many times because it was coming up with very strangely shaped logs, and ultimately I didn't even use this scene. I should actually show you something in this scene as well. We're going to go off topic a little bit from backgrounds, but while this one's running, I might as well show you. I want you to keep your eye on the rabbit. This is the weird stuff that can happen in AI. Here they come. Okay, watch what happens to this rabbit. It's just kind of like, ends up melting into this weird, like marshmallow peep blob. It does that. It can't hold on to the characters sometimes, and it just kind of, it's like it gives up, So if you actually really liked this scene, like I had to do in a few situations, you can, stop it, trim it before the warping takes place. Like maybe right there is where you could cut the scene, because these kind of quick-paced scenes don't have to be that long anyway. Do remember, though, that you will be adding, you may not have to keep providing reference over and over again for the background, but you will have to describe camera shots. So this is one that kind of came out cool. I didn't end up using it, but I'm going to show it to you. I just described this as like a drone shot, above the girl. This is where she's hearing the wolf cry. And I thought, well, maybe it might be cool to do something like this. So the background takes care of itself as long as you get the camera language down. And I did have to generate this several times, I can tell, because they had added the wolf into the scene, even though I didn't ask for the wolf to be there. And I'm also going to show you something else on top of this with the, I tried to do something that didn't quite work. So let's take a look at that. All right, in this section, I'm going to show you how I developed the opening shots. The one where we see the little cabin with the soft billowing smoke coming out of the chimney that Laura is going to run out of. And it started off here, you can see kind of on the bottom, kind of like a Thomas Kincaid painting, with the more of like a sun, kind of a yellowish. Wasn't crazy about this. I like that more crisp white light that I ended up with. But what I did was I gave it instructions to kind of like slowly push in on the cabin, so the cabin is we're going to move closer to the cabin. The cabin doesn't really come closer to us, but look at how it interpreted this. This is like one of the greatest scenes. Look at you see it? Oh, let's do it in full glory. There we go. Look at this. It's like a boat or something. This is how it, and look at the smoke coming out of the top. It's like some sort of weird house train. And it's like, oh no, because this cost 175 credits to do. Maybe it was worth it in the entertainment realm. Now let me see if I can quickly go to oh yeah, we can. Yeah, well this one just shows you, look at it's like a steamboat or something. This is just all this is a slow push-in on a little cabin in the woods, but it's trying to figure out how to do it. So you end up with all these like there it is, it just appears out of the snow. Way too much smoke. I don't really like that. You don't want to center anything. It doesn't look good. So, I had to go through quite a few of these. And here, this one's like emerging from the ground slowly. Look at that. It's just like kind of look at all that rock work on the chimney as well, and these big mess of trees. But that one came up really quick. So, in fact, here, take a look at how I described it right here, the paragraph. If you want to still frame this, you can go ahead and read through it. But even with all of this, it still came up with this weird cabin. So let's move on and see if we can get this on fire there. I was going to have a fence. I was experimenting with a fence around the front of her house as we push in. There's too much smoke going up. Look at that. It's like the house is... Yeah, that's too imposing with that the fence. You have to think about... And too much... It's too much emphasis on all these trees. Like, look at this dead tree in the foreground and all the snow and everything. It's just... It's... You don't need all that stuff. It's too cluttered. But this is how you get it moving to where you want it, is you got to look at this and then have it regenerate something different. Take away the fence, lower, we got to lower the camera down. Not so much fire coming out of the chimney. You got to say it over and over again until you get something you can live with. And let's, while I'm here, let me show you one more thing. This is just an example of the timing, the natural timing of AI. Now, this is supposed to be, I didn't use this scene either because I didn't like it. I wanted her to be running and then running through a little thing of these partridges. And I uploaded some partridge reference, because that's another thing you'll want to do, is go and, grab some reference of the animals you want to work with and upload that so it can see everything. And the timing of this has got that swimmy... well, you'll see what's happening here. Like, oh, God. Okay, see, there's... And now they decide to take off. Okay, so there's a couple things wrong with this scene. The first thing is, of course, it has to be sped up. But that is exactly the pace of everything. Kind of this dump-a-dump-a-dump-a-dump-a-dump. So, let's see. That's probably where I would have it... Let's see. I'm trying to see how fast I would probably speed it up to about there. And, of course, these birds are not reacting. They should already be taking flight, about there. And they wait until, okay, no, we're all right. Okay, now we'll take off. So you're dealing with this funky, like, what the... You will say the words, what the hell, 1,000 million times while you're working with AI. And you will laugh also. Over and over again with what it produces for you. And then there's those moments where it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. So yeah, these partridges are way too big. And, it's like they turn into ducks or something by the time they launch. Because, it doesn't know what it's doing. It has like that, and then it's just, guessing. All right, boing. Yeah, because AI has no life experience, and it's only going to give you what you tell it to, and even then it may not. All right, I am going to go over very briefly how you can quickly make yourself some music for your little cartoon animated project. So usually when there's a story involved, well, I mean, if it's a feature film or if it's a cartoon, music is dropped in after the scenes are done. But because my knowledge is limited here, and I want to keep things simple because I'm still experimenting, I'm actually just kind of creating everything kind of at the same time. And Suno will allow you to create some, like, just over a minute's worth of music. You can drop in lyrics if you want. I did that with another project I was working on where you can write the lyrics out, describe the kind of music you want, what the singer should sound like, and then it'll give you 3 or 4 different examples. And you can pick one of those if there's a winner, or you can kind of tweak your description and see if you can go for round 2. I think you can get longer songs if you pay for the subscription, but I'm not paying right now. So we're keeping it simple because I'm really just making little music montages. No voices, no music that goes along with the action necessarily. Okay, so here is what Suno looks like if you're going to just want some background music, so to speak. Okay, so again, just like anything else with AI, you've got to write it out. What do you want? And the deeper and more descriptive you get, the better. Now, it looks like I erased some of the stuff I was going to show you and removed the one that I picked the final one I picked for the Laura and Loki sound. So what I'm going to do is kind of just recreate sort of what I did. And I'm going to cut and paste a prompt. So you can see here I wrote energetic, a touch of Irish violin, woodblocks, drums, music for an upbeat cartoon, slightly Celtic beat. Now, something else that would be important to add would be no vocals. Okay. No vocals. So it'll just be an instrumental. No vocals. Okay, so we know it'll be an instrumental. Okay, and then you just hit create. Hit create and let's see what happens. When I did this originally, some of them were a little too Irish. I didn't want it to be overblown because it's not an Irish themed thing, but I wanted a touch of something that seemed to be connected to the natural world, and that's also why I said wood blocks. I didn't know what it would come up with. So this is what it looks like when it's generating. It's going to generate 4. See, it's already carry cart dash. This is all new. I don't know what these are going to sound like. But this is just to give you an idea that these are some... it's like basically hiring studio musicians or a composer to go away and then come back and bring me some examples of what the soundtrack should sound like. So once this is done, you can listen to these. Pick one. You can download about a minute's worth. Obviously, some of these you got to pay for this full song, but I got away with just downloading a minute's worth. And it saves it as an MP3. So once you've got the song that you like, you save that and you can drop it into your editing program. All right, so now that you have chosen your shots, we can get back on a little bit more familiar ground here. You can open up your favorite editing program. And the one that I've been using for all my projects is Clipchamp, which was recently purchased by Microsoft, who has all but managed to destroy it. They seem to be well on their way. It buffers a lot here in my computer, not sure why, but it still seems to be the easiest for me to use. There's also, what is this, CapCut. CapCut's handy for extending the front and backs of scenes. This thing is just gonna spit out your idea, but it knows nothing, again, nothing about timing, or that maybe you want something to hold at the beginning of the shot or hold at the end of the shot, so you can do that. But you can do whatever you want when you're in an editing program, right? So this is where you're going to finesse it a little bit. Over here, all of the scenes that I have selected, they're going to end up in the final, possibly. For the most part, I'm going to use all of these. Let's see if we scroll down a little bit. That is the wolf howl sound effect right there that I grabbed off of the internet. And then this is the song that I created. It's the Suno, the company, the website engine that I used to create the song. Just randomly names things. So I didn't name it this. The Girl and the Gray Wolf, although that is kind of what it is. So your song will be laid down, separately. And then the sound effect of the wolf howl, this is where I placed it. And these are all your shots. So, everything I've noticed, don't know why, but AI creates this very strange kind of, well, it's sort of relaxing to watch. It's all very even. The timing. There's no variations at all in timing at all. So this is where you're going to do your timing. If you want to do, this isn't really good. It's not really good for slapstick. Like if we're talking traditional Warner Brothers, you really got to dig in and remove frames, maybe extend some of them to get what you want. I found that almost immediately I had to speed everything up by about at least a quarter to a third faster, because it's all the same even kind of slowish, dreamy speed when the characters are running or whatever. There's no energy to it. So this is where you can inject your energy. And also you can finesse, um, like if you want something to be a little bit closer to camera, this is where you can piddle around with it. You can enlarge it like that, kind of. So you will have some freedom after the AI generates the stuff to kind of change it a little bit. Also, I'm going to show you, I'm going to have a section here where I'm going to show you some screw ups, because that's the best part of it. And I'm going to show you that there's like, you could have a scene where everything is great except like the last last second or so. You just trim that off. You still have perfectly good, it's like trimming off part of a rotten vegetable. You still have most of the vegetable that tastes good. So let's say it screws it up. Let's say AI screws it up because you put the instructions in that all of your motion is going to go from right to left. The continuity of everything is right to left, until you make some camera switches that can, bring you back the other way. So let's say, oh my God, I love the scene. It says the thing is I wanted them going the other way. Well, don't worry, because in editing, you've got the magic of switching screen direction if you want, of course. So, yeah, you've got some freedom here in editing to take your raw footage and trim it up, flip it around, speed it up a little bit or slow it down, remove some frames, and get things. This is really, to me, I mean, editing is like absolutely, it's where all the magic happens. This is where all the energy and life goes into it. And you may also find that you, when putting together your little montage, maybe it's just a scene you don't need. Or maybe you need to add a scene or whatever. You can do that here. It's all up to you here. So you get a little bit of your freedom back when you're in the editing phase. And you're everything, like I said, everything is going to come together right here, and you will export it as a MP4 generally, because all of these little bits and pieces here that you get from the AI website will all be MP4s. At least mine have been from Grok and OpenArt, and everything will end up sandwiched together. Your shots, your sound effects, and your music. Okay, let's try creating a scene. Let's make a scene. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're on video. You can see we chose video over here. Kling 3 is the model because it seems to do pretty good with this sort of stuff. And I chose text with reference. That's the one that will allow me to describe in words what I want and add reference photos so that it knows what the characters in the background look like. And probably props too. If you were going to have them in a car or something, you'd want to upload the car model as well. Same thing. Okay, so I've already picked out, I'm going to add, there's going to be 3 of our characters. I'm going to be in this. So let's get them ready. Okay. We'll upload. Michael will go there. We'll upload. Laura will go there. Loki will go there. And then I'm going to add just like the snow background. Although, there we go. It'll pick up the background from behind the characters, I'm sure it's going to know. All right, so let's look at what I wrote. I already wrote the prompt out, and let's see. This is just going to be completely, I have no idea what's going to happen. But this is what I'm trying to achieve, is a low angle on camera looking at a sunny snow-filled landscape. So we don't want a down shot. We're not looking down. It's going to be kind of a low angle on the environment. Girl and boy are riding on the wolf's back. The wolf is running as the girl and boy smile as they ride the wolf up to and past camera. No pan on background. Background stays still as they run up to and past camera. So twice I described the kind of shot I would like. So the background's not going to be moving. Low angle, they're going to come running up to and past the camera, out of frame, ideally. Okay, and we also described the mood. They're happy. This isn't like they're trying to escape something. Everybody's having a good time. Okay, so we cross our fingers here. I'm going to hit generate. And then It's a waiting game. So we'll come back when it's done. Okay, we got something. We got something. Are you ready? Let's take a look at it. I haven't watched it yet. Let's see if we can enlarge it a little bit. Okay. Hold on. We're gonna watch this again. They add music. You can't hear it, but they add music and sound effects of their own. See what's happening here. You know what I forgot to add in, and this is very important, and I completely forgot. What direction are they going? Right to left or left to right? Although it's not a tragedy because you can flip this in editing, and if I want them to go the other way. Initially my eyes go to, they look kind of weird, like how are they sitting on the, she looks like she's slipping off the right side of the wolf. She's not centered on the back. There's like his shoulder hunch. They should be bigger, a little bigger, and up forward more. Yeah, it didn't follow my camera directions either. I said no movement on the camera, no panning. Yeah, it's like she doesn't have legs. Let's look at that again. Let's look one more time. Yeah, she's just sort of, yeah, they're blended together. Actually, like they're one body and two heads. So there you go. See? So now it's going to be up to you, or up to me if I wanted to use this for something, to try to get it right. And that's the big challenge. It's kind of sort of there. It is. It's a crapshoot. So that's what it's like, basically, to generate these things and to work with it. All right, now we're going to take a look at Laura and Loki. And I'll point out some things, little challenges, funky things, that some of the stuff I didn't even notice until I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. Okay, so here we go. Let's start. It took quite a while to get just this. I experimented with a fence around it, and it just looked too claustrophobic. Some of them, there was like so much smoke pouring out of the chimney that it looked like this house was on fire. So I settled with something kind of like this. I figured no fence. Let's just keep it open so that when she comes running out, there's no obstruction. And then we notice what do we see here? You see the hinge? See how there's only one door hinge up there? I didn't even notice that until a few days ago. But we have to be thankful because I described to it over and over again that the knob is on the left side of the door, and I can't tell you how many times it would give me the knob on the right side. And weird things. Once it stuck a stuffed panda in the window randomly. I mean, it's just the weirdest, like surreal experience trying to rein this technology in. So when we see this, we're grateful for it, that we managed to get something, even if the door only has one hinge on it. Here she comes with one hinge. Also, I tried to ask it to improve. You can upscale it to a higher resolution, and I just for the heck of it asked if it could improve. Watch her eyes here. There's this swimmy quality to like some of the eyes in some of these shots, especially when they're kind of like not too close up. See how the eyes are kind of like funky there when she was first coming, kind of watery, like a watery. Okay, so this is a great shot. This turned out really good. You'll notice her little tail in the back, her little furry, maybe she's like a furry, I don't know, maybe a little bit. That tail should be coming out from underneath her coat. Like if you imagine it would be pinned to the back of her pants. But this is a type of thing where you just have to let it go. Just like the back of her hat up here is going to change color in several shots. It's going to go from kind of that brown to like a dark blue. But when you're running out of credits and you've got other things to do, you just have to kind of let some of this stuff slip. We're just playing around right now, right? That's cute. This turned out good. This I really had to speed up. You should see what these rabbits ended up morphing into. I trimmed this scene so that you didn't see this rabbit in the back. Just kind of ends up. I don't know what is. Cut. You don't see it. This is cool. Oh, this turned out good. This is a really nice shot. Had to flip that one. Flip it horizontal. Here we go. Had to do this a few times. They kept putting skis on her. I said no skis. They got this pretty good. Nice shot. I was trying to get the wolf to look a little more excited about seeing her. I described in graphic detail that he would have a little bit of a smile on his face. I probably generated that 6 or 7 times, hoping for a better result. And although he doesn't look upset when she hugs him, he kind of looks a little like, whoa. All right, they're off. This scene right here with the ice has got some funny stuff. I'll show you some major bloopers with that in a minute. The wolf's eye is kind of swimming. His blue eyes are kind of wobbling around. Kind of flickering. Okay. He's standing on the water. I didn't notice that until I generated this a lot. I did over, and then I had to actually get a fish. The funniest screw up. I'll show you that in a second. But I had to grab a fish off the internet, and place it as a character reference. I had to give it a fish to look at, which is fair enough. You would consider that a character. So once I found this fish, put it in there, it managed to get it more or less looking. I didn't really see it. It looks like it's hooked through its nose. But look, compared to what I got originally, this is, genius. This is a really cool scene. I like that a lot. Okay, that's good too. Got some eyes jiggling on the wolf. I'd really like to see them improve that so we don't have that happening. Look at the wolf's eyes here. Shaking. Not great, but totally different lighting here. It's almost like a sunset. I actually did this first. Some of the stuff that was being generated had more of that sunset tint back there. I actually like the pure white with the very harsh shadows is really cool. To get this kind of title card thing, I first generated the image of them together, and then I described to it. I asked it to create me a title card, again with the words kind of curved and coming up, and it came up with this logo, the complete thing, the IC lettering, and then this kind of woodcut with the paw in the O. I like that. I would probably have gotten rid of the little paw there. In fact, you could take, because you have to give this as 2 different elements. You give it the reference of the picture, and then you generate this title separately, and you upload them as reference, as a visual reference. And I asked it to overlay it, put it on top of the characters. But I could have probably gone into like a Photoshop or whatever and got rid of that. But, clearly I didn't because I have better things to do. I got the bigger picture to look at and credits to burn. All right. I asked it to create an Aurora Borealis shot. I overlaid that lettering. I gave it the reference of that first lettering you just saw and asked it to generate different words with the same style lettering, uploaded that and the Aurora Borealis background and the 2 characters as reference. So there's 4 things that I uploaded so that it knew what was expected in the scene. I'm going to show you the end. I trimmed this short because of what happens. You can see she just starts to turn her head at the end of the shot. Towards the wolf, but I trimmed it because I'll show you what it ended up doing. Okay, are you ready for this? Look at that! What in the world? Look how it gave her like the beginning of a nose, a dog nose there. See, this is a classic example of, like, trim it short a little bit right before the horror show happens. Um, I can only guess that the AI was taking a taking a clue from the wolf's nose and giving the girl the same thing. So this is what I've been dealing with for months here. Um, so just bear in mind, this kind of stuff is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong if this ends up being generated. It's just the way AI works. You got to work around it sometimes. I did have them generate this them uh, about 5 or 6 times before I gave up. But it works anyway. I just had it create these the little title thing, and this was just a test animation here with the two characters. I just had them walking, and I took that because I already paid for it, so to speak. So used it and then put the name. Also, another thing is, I guess I'll just say this here, is when you create your music in Suno, there's no real, it's not telling a story. It's general music. You're asking it to generate this style of music, and it gives you about a minute. How long is this? A minute and 12 seconds. That's how long the music clip was that Suno gave me. That's what I'm going to work with. So it really does this whole thing lends itself much better to musical montages because you're a little more free, a little more loose. You can have a little bit of a story or an introduction to your characters. And your music is just going to be there as decoration in the background. It is not, custom made for certain beats. That is something I haven't gotten into, like music scoring. So that, it's like you've got an episode of that's like, to me, much more advanced. I'm not even sure how you could do that. Because you got to have a person, watching what's going on and then scoring it to the unique, action that's on the screen. So don't know how that's going to work, but those are some of the things that have popped up, and now I'm going to go into a little more detail and show you we're going to pull the curtain back. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that you haven't seen, but you're going to see it now. Get ready. All right, I'm going to give you an example of the bizarre head scratching, where did this come from examples when you generate something and what AI decides to give you. And this is possibly the best thing that's ever come out of that, as far as, like, not what I want at all, but it's so ridiculous that we have to share it. So this is the scene where they're fishing, and I just wanted to throw this particular scene in because it's a little bit of a chuckle, just to lighten things up a little bit. And I put the prompt in to describe, that there's a hole in the ice and the wolf is waiting, sitting down, and she's on a log fishing, and she pulls up a fish. Okay, now this is where I went terribly wrong. I didn't provide it with a model of what the fish should look like, which I later had to do. I had to go on the internet, grab like a photo or an illustration of a fish and drop it in. Okay, so look at this. This is just really something else, man, because I'm all excited. It's like, oh, the fish is coming. Like, what the? Yeah, see, this thing is like The Ring. Don't look at it because you'll never be able to unsee it. I don't know. It reminds me of some sort of weird, demented Dr. Seuss character. I keep thinking of the Lorax, but I'm not sure that that's it. This is definitely something the village would burn. Okay, we've got this, and then we're going to see one more thing, and then we're going to move on. Hide your eyes. One more thing I want to show you. This is actually an excerpt from a scene I was trying desperately to succeed getting a good shot with. This is the scene. I was working on the one where she slides under the wolf and stops. My initial idea was to have her slide on her stomach and stop right in front of the wolf, and the camera would be like down under the wolf, and we would see the back of his front legs, with her surprised face looking. It didn't work out. It did not. It kept putting the wolf's feet on backwards. So after like a half dozen of those, I grabbed just this shot, And I decided to use this as reference and have it, create a little 5-second clip. Let's see how that turned out. All right, well, already we can see something has gone terribly wrong with how AI has interpreted what's going on here. Now, she's sort of turned into a toddler as well, but that's not the worst of it here, is look at these back legs, okay? And it just went ahead and, decided it went to town here, and she's crawling like some strange, weird beast, gesturing down at whatever this is, tracks or something with these strange mad scientist gloves. I did not have it, I didn't instruct it to do any of this. But the horror show here is just these legs. Where did that come from? Because it's guessing. It's filling in from whatever, dream-like, repository of images is in its, digital head. So, yeah, that's just one of the challenges is, I'm trying to make these wholesome, fun, and cute little cartoons. And when you get stuff like this, in the fish and other things, the nose on the dog girl nose, you end up at the end of the night, like just stepping away from this dark, weird place that you've had to sit in for a couple hours in order to get, the more normal, pleasant stuff. So yeah, you just wonder, like, where did I go tonight? What kind of, deep, dark horror dungeons did I have to walk around in order to come up with this, cute, lightweight stuff? So that's it. Okay, now we're going to switch over and we're going to take a look at the Lucky Cat's Good Deed cartoon, and we'll do a walkthrough of that. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to look at the final of the Lucky Cat. The little Lucky Cat cartoon was the first one that I completed. I want to go through this and show you some oddities, strange things, stuff I could not get it to work out. Man, it couldn't work it out. I was stuck with it. Things you may not have noticed, little quirks that I've seen of how just the whole AI thing works with the cartoons. So let's start. I'm going to go ahead and start. We're going to stop and start through this thing. And I just want to point a few things out to you. Okay, there's not going to be any sound because this is more just stuff we're going to be watching. So this turned out great. Very cute. So I had to describe to it 1930s style writing that will be curved over and under the cat as he's bobbing to the music. So I had to just, really, it's just like, like spinning a roulette wheel. You type in the description as best you can and hope that it understands like the word font. And some of this is just amazing. It came up with this, which was perfectly fine for a little experiment like this. The lettering's cool. It curved around, so this one was a winner. That one came out all right. All right, this is good enough. And yeah, it's very cute. Yeah, this is really sped up too. This is really slow. That sluggish kind of dreamy quality to the animation. I mean, the only reason why it looks like they're running quick is because I sped it up in editing. Okay, so here they come to the truck. All right, now watch. This is interesting. There's a lot of twinning that happens. If you watch both the cats, they're kind of doing the same thing. Okay? Twins. There they are, two fish. And even that's kind of twinning there. And still, it's pretty good. Okay, now did you see this? Watch this. Watch this cat's legs. Here, the markings on the leg. Gone. now, the thing is, at this point, it's like, all right, we got to look at the bigger picture. Because I could ask it to regenerate this whole thing and keep the markings on the legs, but it could completely screw up those kittens, or the nurse cat will look different. Anything could be different. So it's like, look, if it's 95% of what you want, then you're a winner. You let it go. these are not, I have to remember myself. This is not stuff I'm doing to prepare to have it go on television like a real thing. It's just experimenting. So we have to give it a break. We don't have to go crazy about it. Uh, that's cute, I guess. Cute enough. Okay, now this is just something that would pick on. The eye line here. The eye line, it means like where is the character looking? He is not completely looking. They're not making eye contact completely. It's close, but it's just off enough that I would be up all night thinking about this. Also, I'm not too crazy about this. Her front legs. I don't think anybody would notice this except other animators, but I just don't like the way it plump. I don't know. I would have added a little more personality to that. But hey, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. You just accept what it gives you. And I did all of this on Grok when it was free. Grok is not free anymore. So this was all like a gift. Yeah, it was good that it was free because I generated, you don't even know how many dozens and dozens of scenes I had to redo just to get this. All right. So we're looking good. Okay, this is like my greatest thing in the world because look at the fish truck. I just noticed this too. The sign, the E, is just like painted right over the trim here. It's not really, there's no border like it was a sign that was put up. The chimney's not finished there. The line for the chimney doesn't go down all the way. But this is the greatest thing I've ever seen is these the fish on the side of the truck, which I instructed. I explained this whole scene, and I said, we want some fish painted on the side of the truck. There's no driver in it, as you can see. The fish have like two tails. There's no heads to them. They look like wrapped candy. So again, this is like, it was kind of funny enough that I'm just going to let it go. And if I ask it to do something else, we don't even know what else would change. So we quit while we're ahead. And the little cats walking, they're kind of repetitive too. These little cats walking on the sidewalk. It's like, yeah, two of the same, but whatever. We learn as we go. This is how it operates right now. This is cool. That font does not match the font at the beginning, but who cares? It's curved. It's cute. We're looking at his face. We can deal with it. Add a little bit of pink to the mouth. This stuff is adorable. This is just little experiments that I was doing. These are little tests just to kind of see, and these models of these cats are really cool. Also notice here, this kitten in the front, his back leg there, the back leg is not colored in. There he goes. So what though? Because we're so wrapped up in how cute they are that we don't really think about it. So the tragedy is, right when I finished this cartoon, Grok got in big trouble, all right, because people were going on there and they were making stuff that was inappropriate. You know what I mean? Of course it was used for that. And they changed something with the models. I don't know whether they had to dial it back to a different version or what, but I was trying to make cartoon number 2 with these characters, and I could not get it to behave to save my life. Now what I'm going to do is show you some little excerpts, little bloopers, I guess, to show you like what was I seeing that I have not shown you, the revealing behind the curtains. So let's take a look. All right, this is just going to be an example of some of the monstrosities that I got when I tried to do another cat cartoon, and things had changed with Grok. I was never able to capture the same look. Now, this is a little test that I did. Well, these are all going to be tests. And it doesn't start off too bad. That's fairly cute. But then it started to, throw in like, oh, hold on a minute. It put in like these strange kittens. See that the lower right, there's a cat coming in there. She looks cute. The little girl kitty looks great. But then there's like this strange, completely different kind of style kitten coming in there. But this is where I had real problems. Watch when she turns and runs, this spazzy, like the feet. Dig this. Look at that. Look at that. I was getting stuff like this. After I had finished this beautiful little black and white cartoon, I try to make more of it, and this is what it's cranking out for me. Now look at her left leg. Look what's going to happen here. Maybe you can explain this to me, because I don't know what. she's got, it looks like it's coming out of her front, like a third front leg. Yeah, he's down for the count. This is just a mess here. I don't know. Okay, now there's something. He doesn't look quite the same, although you could say this is cute. It's not really what I wanted. Now watch what he does here. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that. He's it's the same kind of spazzy. I couldn't get it to calm down, you know. And then, okay, dig this. Look what it kept giving me. It kept giving me this cat with fangs and rabbit ears it would give me. And I was never able to get like a proper title card going because it kept doing this and giving me these weird squinchy eyes. This art is better than those other things I just showed you, but this isn't what I want the cat to do. Yeah, the fangs. And I told this thing, I mean, this is cute, but it's not what I'm looking for. I told it to get rid of the fangs, remove the fangs, no teeth. And it kept putting them in. And I had to give up. Because that's it. I can only do this so many times. All right, so what we're going to do here, as we wrap this all up, is I am going to play the Lara and Loki roughly 1 minute short, regular time, at the regular speed. And in each shot, I've overlaid my prompts that I used. So what you can do is just stop, pause it, and read it, and see what was used for each shot. Now, please do bear in mind that a lot of these prompts that you're going to read, I call it the starting prompt. Okay, this was what I typed in to kind of at least get something down on paper. It'll generate it, and sometimes it hits it right out of the park and gives you a scene that you can use. It's like, wow, that was spot on. Great. And then we can move on to the next shot. And sometimes you got to work with a scene. You'll have to modify it. Ask it to change something. It could completely change your character into something different that you didn't want. So you got to, generate it again. So just bear in mind that the prompt you see was just to get it started. All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and see how we write our prompts. All right, so this is where I am going to wrap things up. Gosh, this is over an hour long. But I wanted to cover all of these things. I wanted to kind of show everybody, whether you make cartoons or not, how the heck do you do it? This is like a completely different technology, totally different way of working. So I would encourage you, if you're interested, it would be the best deal is to just get a year subscription to one of these, one or more of these pages. websites like OpenArt AI. Grok has its own page, although it is also part of OpenArt, so maybe just do that, get both of them. And Midjourney is another one that I was considering doing. That gives you a lot of cool surreal art, not so much this kind of Pixar Disney style stuff. You can take a look at that. And yeah, I definitely encourage you to start experimenting. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Just make little short projects. You don't even have to necessarily experiment with voiceover if you don't want to. Just sync some music to it if you wish. So you get out and start with that. Something else that I wanted to touch on here has to do with the cost of making something like this and what it might mean for the future of animation. So let's say I was a studio and wanted to put together a 1-minute short like this. Let's say just to pitch a new idea, show it at MIPCOM or wherever, a promo. Okay, this was about a minute long, I guess, this Laura and Loki thing. Easily between having a producer, a director, storyboard artist, then having to just basically have the staff that you would normally have in an animation studio, and then hiring the overseas studio to actually animate it, and an editor, because when it comes back, you're going to want to fix it. Making a 1-minute short like this would run you tens of thousands, maybe even over $100,000, but definitely tens of thousands of dollars. With what credits I use, this cost me about $50. Now, obviously, we know it's not TV ready. There's goofs in it. There's things that don't match up. There's things that you would want to fix. But still, this is we can see how far we can go on $50. So definitely, this is something that people at home, please try this at home. But it does make me wonder about the future of animation. I am seeing some clips and shorts that people are making with this. With Sea-Dance, and of course the new hot thing changes every 5 minutes, that are just incredible, lip-synced and funny. The timing is there. So it just makes me wonder, really, because if one person can do all this, you know what I'm saying here, is your staff would be cut back considerably. You just don't need a whole animation studio to make something like this. One person conceivably could put this all together for under $100. So we're going to see. It improves all the time. The technology improves all the time. I don't feel like what I'm using now is quite there, but it could be that I need to learn a little more. So that's my little comment there on cost and where it might take animation in general. Final thing that I want to say actually goes back to the subject of people saying that this is not an art form, it's not legitimate, it's all crap, it's shit. Here's the thing that's missing is, yes, it democratizes art in a way that, let's say, a banker or an accountant can go home and, design a scene of somebody sitting on a dragon flying through a, fantastic medieval world or whatever, and they can do multiple shots of that and put it together and wow their friends. Okay, so I'm watching some of the stuff that people are generating, and you know what, I think it's great that anybody can do it. Go for it. But what's missing, the reason why people say that it's shit, all the stuff that's flowing out there like diarrhea onto YouTube, the slop, crap hack generated stuff, is that not everybody is a storyteller. Okay, storytelling is what brings the art form alive. This is what keeps people and gets your audience invested in your story. Okay, and this is our talent as people who have been in the animation industry, for decades. This is what we've been honing all this time, is understanding the fundamentals of filmmaking, how you use your camera to tell the story, what shots are best, designing characters that are appealing. These are all the skills that we already know. That is what needs to be plugged into AI. You don't just throw away the technology because there's not enough great storytellers out there. So get out there and tell your story. You guys already know how to do it. We all do here in this business. This is just another tool. So I just want to see what you guys can do and turn it into the great art form that it's beginning to become. That's up to you. Get out there, everybody. I want to see what you can make. And that's it for now. I hope this was useful for you. And again, I want to see what you guys are going to make. All of you. All right, that's it for now. Bye.